Join me on an incredible musky trip in northern Wisconsin as I crack the code on a tough bite with some minnow bait magic and then return with a Topwater in the evening for a following musky as I get myself into a fight that I won't soon forget. If you want to increase your musky catching consistency, then one thing is certain. You must stay versatile. Making sure to check a variety of different structures with your electronics, from weeds to rock reefs to the main lake basin for a suspended bite, is critical, as well as changing up your presentation. When the musky bite is tough and I know that I'm on the fish, the first thing I do is downsize my presentation, and even further, choose lures that I can pause and keep in the strike zone for a longer period of time. The spot that I am fishing here features a good weed flat that tapers off into a boulder field. Taking longer casts enables me to get the maximum running depth out of my ShallowRaider so it can reach closer to the deep rock structure.
Oh gosh, I was just saying to myself in my head, I've seen him here, I've never caught one here. All right. Stay hooked. Stay hooked. And keep it hooked here. We are going to have a touchdown. And we got a touchdown. Yes! That is awesome. Man, raised 4 fish on the Straight Model 7. 4 of them. And I was just saying to myself as I pulled up to this reef, I'm like, man, I've seen them here. I'm surprised I've actually never caught one here. How weird is that? Sure enough, man, this fish hammered it. Oh, that's awesome. And I came back on all 4 of those fish that I had follow. Couldn't get them to commit. So I went back to this. I'm like, well, they must like this 7-inch model for some reason. And sure enough, this one did. Okay, here she comes. Wow, big head on this one. Guys, when they're just following traditional stuff, throw a twitch bait, a minnow bait at them. Pause it in the beginning and then crank it. This fish hit on the crank. That was just awesome. Now let's get her back. Wow, guys, what an exciting story I've got for you right now. This is awesome. So we've got these slack calm conditions for one thing. It's really pretty humid, hot, and muggy. The flies are biting, and there's not a lot going on here environmentally. We've got a little bit of sticking up a partly cloudy day here, and we've had this wind blowing from the northwest. We had some really hot action earlier in the week, and the wind switched to the northwest. It cooled down like a small cold front, and the bite's been tough. And you know, throwing traditional musky tackle has not been producing fish, or very minimally has been producing. So I guess what I'd say is I know where the muskies are. I've been, you know, watching the baitfish and I've been seeing them, but just haven't been able to get one to strike. So I switched to a twitch bait, a little jerk bait here. This is the 7-inch ShallowRaider. This is a new color that JBO's got. It's blueback shad. And the technique, or the idea behind this technique is, look, you know the fish are here, but we have no environmental triggers. They're not really moving. So I need to trigger them myself. And so I picked a bait here that I can, you know, do that with. And really the technique is this. You'll see me do this. It's a couple quick twitches in the beginning. Slack line twitch. Pause it, and then just crank it. And what I'm finding is that I'm getting fish in you know, one of the 2 areas. Either initially right in the thick of the weeds with the twitching, or I'm getting them on the cranking. And the neat thing about the crank is that you can get the fish into the figure 8 and then even trigger them like that. That's what's really cool here. Now the setup, I want to tell you, this is just an all-star lineup here as far as setup's concerned. St. Croix has come out with a new downsizer series of rods specifically designed to throw these small lures. This is their 710. It's a medium power, fast action. Believe me, it's got all the power in the world to land, you know, a 50-pound muskie, but it delivers the lure, the small presentation, really, really well. Got a 300 size bait caster here. Because I'm fishing in weed cover, I've got 80-pound test beast braid, and this is one of JBO's new leaders. It's a 7-strain with a nice coating on it. It really protects it, and it gives this lure just the most movement possible when I'm working the lure in.
I started off my afternoon trip by checking a weed flat that was holding lots of baitfish, but it only produced a few lazy follows, so I decided to move out a little deeper and check the adjacent rock reef, and boom, I scored on a nice fish. Now that I had my net slimed, it was time to try and replicate this pattern, so the next spot I chose was a shallow rock reef with many similarities to the spot I had just hooked up on.
Another ShallowRaider fish, guys. Wow. Cranking it. Stay hooked. Oh boy. Hope she's hooked good. Oh boy. Saw a big mark on the graph. That must have been her. How cool is that? Come here. Yes! Touchdown! I literally just saw this giant mark on the graph, and it was making a funny arc. It was like coming up almost. I think that fish saw the ShallowRaider and came up to get it. I mean, that was awesome. Wow. How cool is that? Oh my gosh. Wow. Oh, that's incredible. That was just incredible. Man, that is a beautiful fish right there. Oh, guys, that is just awesome. That 7-inch ShallowRaider is just an incredible tool to trigger strikes under tough conditions, because again, you can trigger them with the twitch in the beginning, and like this fish, you can trigger them on the crank. Man, that is awesome. Gorgeous musky. Let's get her back. Right back in. All right. Pretty fish, huh? Pretty musky. Pretty sure I saw this on my graph up front. The old Humminbird Helix 10, just an amazing instrument. And I looked down, and as I'm approaching this kind of outside of the rock reef still, I saw this big thick mark. Didn't quite know what it was. I mean, it didn't look like baitfish, and I think it was a muskie, because it was flat, and then all of a sudden it curved up. And I think that fish, I'll have to check and see if I say anything on footage, but I'm pretty sure that muskie, I'm cranking along, I see that arc just move upward, and all of a sudden that fish smacked it. And actually, another reason that I think that was the fish on my graph is because that fish hit close to the boat. It wasn't way out there on the rock reef. That fish would have been where my cone was on the front transducer. Again, that is second muskie I caught this afternoon. We're still an hour out from the major period here on the moon phase. But I've raised 4 muskies and now caught 2 on the 7-inch ShallowRaider. This bait is just tearing them up. We got kind of, medium, conditions as far as what I would call active for muskie fishing, and I think the twitch bait does the job.
One of the most important lessons I've learned over the years while chasing muskies is to always refish a spot where I've caught a muskie and continue fishing this spot until you stop catching muskies or seeing activity off of it. Many times, small wolf packs of muskies move in to feed in an area, and if you're lucky, you might just catch all of them if they are extremely active and aggressive.
I pulled a muscle in my neck there. Tough life. Working your face, That's what you're telling me. So there's a rock fish and a weed fish. Now that blows the top. Everything, there's another fish. Oh. Another muskie on the reef. Another muskie on the reef. Wow, she is just bulldogging me, guys. Hope she's hooked all right. Oh. Wow. Stay hooked. That's a nice one. That's a nice fish. Hope I can keep her hooked. Wow. Guys, this ShallowRaider thing is just incredible. All right. It's a nice one, guys. Let's see if we can't get the net on her. Okay. Now I got my hands full. Oh boy. She's caught on something. Shoot. That's not good. There she is. Well, if this fish stays hooked. I mean. Oh no. Boy, am I having my freaking hands full with this muskie. Get in here. Oh my gosh. That was not pretty. Caught under the boat. I mean, when you're by yourself, I guess you're just thankful when you can get them in here. Oh, she was on the trolling motor over there. Oh, the vantage is twisted. She was in the trolling motor. Wow, that's a nice fish, guys. Holy smokes! All right, well, we got her. As Chris Godorsey says, we got her, Joe. We got her. We got her. Godorsey will probably hate me for saying that. Oh. All right, another beautiful muskie here. Another gorgeous muskie, guys. This is a wolf pack. We got two muskies here on this one tiny little rock reef. Wolf pack muskies for sure. Wow. All right, good. Oh, look at the size of that one. Guys, wolf pack muskies on rock reefs. That is just awesome. Not my best net job, but we got the job done. Holy cow, was that sweet. They're just smoking that ShallowRaider tonight. Gorgeous fish. Let's get her back. That's a nice fish. That's a beautiful muscle. Well, I'm going back to hit this reef for the third time. I mean, I can't even fit it. This reef isn't even that big. And I haven't gotten past the middle section, which I'm not complaining, but I keep catching muskies. I'm going to go back and start from the very beginning again. Same lure, same setup, the whole thing. We're doing it the same way. They are all over this 7-inch ShallowRaider. It's freaking awesome. Woo! I had to inspect that line. I don't think there's anything, any nicks that I saw, so we're going to keep going. Oh my gosh, got one on the paws. When did she crack that thing? Oh, it's a good fish. Wow, that was so cool. Oh no, she's off. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Oh, that's a heartbreaker. Darn it. Felt like a good fish, man. She was just going out. Oh, man. Couldn't keep her pinned. Alright guys, having a little sandwich here for dinner. The bite was just so intense. Wow! The hour before and after moon overhead was just incredible. I don't know what else to say, it was nuts. Caught 3, lost 1, and raised 4 others. Pretty wild. Alright, so I'm going back to these original 4 muskies that I had followed. They're on the same lure, original 7-inch straight mile ShallowRaider, and we'll see what happens.
The crazy action on the rock reef died, signifying that the wolf pack had likely moved on. So with the wind settling and the sun beginning to creep behind the trees, It was now time to go back and revisit those lazy followers that I had marked earlier in the afternoon with a Topwater. Fishing a Topwater during the last couple hours of daylight has always been an excellent way to trigger aggressive behavior from muskies that only follow during the day, and it is the perfect lure for reaching way back into the slot where these fish are hiding without getting snagged.
Oh man, stay hooked. Oh gosh. Holy smokes, did you see that? Oh my gosh, guys. What a battle. Holy cow. Wow. Got her. Oh, and she fought even getting into the net. Holy cow, touchdown. Wow. That was incredible. One of the followers, and she's off. Oh my gosh, I'm glad I got her. Oh man, guys. Look at that muskie. Guys, when they're following during the day, but you can't get them to strike, come back at them at night with a Topwater. Look out. I would hold on to that rod tight. Guys, thanks for watching. There she goes. I mean, that was an incredible strike. I mean, that was one of the top Topwater strikes of all time. Oh my God. Was that incredible? Holy cow.
As I stare into the sunset, listening to the thump of my Topwater slowly making its way across the surface of a remote northern Wisconsin lake, with the smell of musky slime permeating the boat and the hum of hungry mosquitoes buzzing around my ears, I find myself asking a familiar question. Does it truly get any better than this? And the easy answer is no. Special hunts like these remind me just how lucky I am to be able to do what I love to do, and it gives me a special feeling to be able to interact with the natural world around me in such an intimate and meaningful way. Chaz Martin's Muskie Mastery Outdoors is brought to you by Joe Bucher Outdoors, #1 in big game fish products, and by St. Croix Rods, best rods on earth. Fish more, worry less.